Welcome to The Heart of Health Live. There's a place for modern medicine in your life. Learn to use it correctly by getting your toughest questions answered on today's broadcast. Discover modern medicine's strengths and weaknesses. Lifestyle medicine opens the door to optimum health and healing. How you live and what you eat can profoundly affect mind and body. Learn simple solutions to complex problems. God provides the ultimate healing we all desire. He wants us healthy and happy. We just need to understand His plan for our lives and live accordingly. And now, live from Studio 1A in Chattanooga, Tennessee, here's your Heart of Health host, Dr. James Markham.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, sitting in for Dr. Jim Markham, and welcome to Heart of Health, your weekly place for healing truth and grace. Each week on Heart of Health, we bring you medical professionals who understand the importance of integrating the latest in scientific understanding with the truth of God's principles of love to promote healing to the whole person, biological, psychological, social, and spiritual. And unlike other shows, on this show, you can be part of the program by calling 855-644-3278. That's 855-644-3278 and ask your questions of our guest. And today, we will be talking with a specialist who treats your body's largest organ. This organ weighs about 6 to 9 pounds and has a surface area of 2 square yards. This organ protects against infections, helps regulate body temperature, and is sensitive to touch and heat and cold. Have you figured it out? Yes, we're talking about your skin. And according to the CDC, skin cancer is the most common form of cancer in the United States. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, more than 2 million people are diagnosed with skin cancer in the United States every year. About 131,000 new cases of melanoma, the most serious form of skin cancer, will be diagnosed this year. Current estimates are that 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer in their lifetime, and by 2015 it is estimated that 1 in 50 Americans will develop melanoma in their lifetime. But if you're a teenager, you may not worry about skin cancer. You might instead be concerned with acne. 85% of teens between the age of 12 and 24 suffer from acne. 25% will have permanent scarring from acne. And what about adults? 20% of adults have acne. That's 60 million Americans with active acne. Only 11% of acne sufferers actually seek help. Acne often causes social stigma and stress. And our guest today is Lynda Smith, a nurse practitioner specializing in dermatology with a practice here in Chattanooga. So if you have questions regarding your skin cancer, acne, age spots, wrinkle treatments, how to keep your skin healthy, how much sunlight is okay, how much is too dangerous, questions about infections or rashes or other issues, give us a call at 855-644-3278. We'll be back after this.
Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
The Ultimate Prescription by cardiologist Dr. James Markham is taking the nation by storm. People everywhere are learning what living a healthy life is all about. If you're happy living a drug-filled, pain-filled, mundane existence, this book is definitely not for you. In this book, Dr. Markham dives into modern medicine's strengths and weaknesses and explains how lifestyle choices can significantly impact your health. To get your copy, visit Barnes & Noble or shop online at Amazon.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings with your Mental Health Minute. Science has now shown that exercise is not only beneficial to your body, but keeps your brain healthy as well, decreasing your risk of dementia. When we exercise, the muscles produce a powerful anti-inflammatory factor which reduces inflammation throughout the body. Exercise stimulates the brain to produce chemicals that elevate mood and contribute to the infamous runner's high. But more importantly, exercise triggers the brain to produce proteins which cause the brain to make new neurons. In a recent study of 120 older adults, aerobic exercise caused the portion of the brain critical to memory to grow by 2%. This growth effectively reversed brain volume loss which occurs with aging. The multiple beneficial effects of exercise not only promote better physical health, but keep your brain young, reducing the risk of dementia. To be smart requires a healthy brain, so be smart, train for your brain.
To learn more about mental health, visit comeandreason.com.
Imagine a classroom. A classroom with no boundaries. A classroom where reenacting a book is an English class, and repairing a motor is a math lesson. A classroom where caring for horses is biology. This is our classroom. At Bachman Academy, 6th to 12th graders with ADHD, dyslexia, and other language-based learning differences are provided a language-rich, hands-on program of study. With an average of 5 students per teacher, Bachman students receive more attention and have more time to learn while using their own learning strengths. Now, imagine your child in this classroom. To learn more about Bachman Academy, visit our website at www.bachmanacademy.org. Bachman Academy, tapping potential one person at a time.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Welcome back to Heart of Health. I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, sitting in for Dr. Jim Markham. We're here with our special guest today. Let me introduce Lynda Smith, nurse practitioner specializing in dermatology. Welcome to the show, Lynda.
Thank you so much. It's fun to be here.
And let me invite our audience. This is a live program. If you have questions for Lynda, I'm going to ask her a little about herself in just a second. But if you have questions and want to talk to her, pick up your phone, call 855-644-3278, and get in the queue so you can get on with Lynda today. So Lynda, tell us, what's the difference between a nurse practitioner and a nurse that might take care of somebody in the hospital?
Okay, so a nurse practitioner has further study in a master's level that has now extra training in diagnosing and treating. And so we can give prescriptions, we can order x-rays, we can do the whole gamut. But we have a certain amount of potential that we can do. So we know that we're not just like a physician, but we can handle the physician's patients very nicely.
Oh, that sounds good. And so what is it that led you to become a nurse practitioner?
I really wanted to do a little bit more than just helping people at the bedside. So then the next 10 years I actually did some healthy lifestyle stuff. So I had my master's in public health, and then I got tired of that, and so I said, hey, I want to do something extra, one-on-one with patients. And so that's why I went for further study.
And now you're in dermatology.
Yes.
Tell us about dermatology and what led you into dermatology.
Well, the first 5 years I was in family practice. So I got the whole gamut of everything that's going on with a person. And then about 20% of people that come into family practice have questions about derm. And I was like, I don't know. So I said, I want to know these things. And so I said,
you got an inquiring mind.
Yes.
You like to know things. Oh, that's good. I like that. So first question about dermatology has to do with sunlight. How much sunlight is okay?
Just a few minutes, 15 a day, really. And that's not at the peak of the day. And the peak of the day is from 10 to 5, and that's when your shadow is less or smaller than you are.
Wait. 15 minutes of sunlight a day?
Is all you really need.
Without sunscreen?
Yes.
But more than that, you're supposed to have sunscreen?
Yes, definitely. Sunscreen is the most important thing to wear every day, besides your clothes, of course.
But wait a second now. I've read recently that sunlight actually helps reduce skin cancers.
I haven't heard that.
You haven't heard that?
No.
You haven't heard that? Okay. I was going to ask you about that.
Bad rumor.
Bad rumor. Okay. Mm-hmm. So too much sunlight, more than 15 minutes a day, puts us at risk for what?
For skin cancers and melanoma and aging.
Okay. Skin cancers, melanoma, aging. You mean like wrinkling?
Wrinkling, thinning the skin. You've all seen the elderly that have bruised arms and hands. That's because they've had too much sun on those forearms, and their skin has gotten thinner.
See, because I think we often just think it's about skin cancer, but there's actually other problems with too much sunlight as well. Mm-hmm. Now, do mothers with young children, like infants, have to take even special precautions with the infants?
Well, definitely, because an infant has got growing cells, don't they? So if you damage those baby cells that then divide and get and become more skin or more whatever, then you can get dysplastic or atypical cells. And so then that will multiply. So yeah.
So the 15 minutes for an infant is not. So infants get no direct sunlight. They get, if they have to go, if you're going to take your infant to the beach with you or whatever, you put sunscreen on them right away.
And cover them with clothes.
And cover them with clothes in addition to the sunscreen.
Yes.
Okay.
And remember the eyes too. They also need to be covered.
Recently my grandchild went to the beach and it was like all the sunscreen covered up, all this kind of stuff. Had little baby sunglasses.
Yes, you have to have that too.
You have to have the little baby sunglasses too. Okay. Now, do you see people that get sunburned very often?
Oh yeah. It's amazing to me. They might have an appointment a year in advance, and the weekend before they come to see me, they get all red and burned, and they come in kind of sheepishly and go, you know, I just was at the beach, or I just spent the day outside. But yeah, I get a lot of sunburns.
All right, we're talking with Lynda Smith, nurse practitioner specializing in dermatology. Our phone number is 855-644-3278. That's 855-644-3278. After the break, we're going to be asking other questions about dermatology. We're going to explore questions on acne, questions on aging, wrinkling, questions related to infections, any questions you might have. You give us a call, 855-644-3278, and talk with Lynda Smith on our show, Heart of Health. I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, sitting in with for Dr. Jim Markham. We'll be back right after this.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
There's a place for modern medicine, but that's not enough. There's a place for lifestyle, but that's not enough. The real truth in medicine, the real truth in healing comes from that relationship with the Heavenly Father. That relationship can show us the balance. When to use modern medicine, when to use lifestyle, and to use it for the right reasons. Well, this book gives the solution to the healthcare dilemma. It answers the question, why am I sick? How do I get better? And how can I have ultimate healing? I'm Dr. James Markham, and I talk to patients every day who want to know the truth in healthcare. On our website, heartwiseministries.org, you can have your questions answered. You can read my blog where I talk about interesting and controversial subjects in medicine. You might choose to go to the radio or television sections and learn more about all sorts of health topics. Take the time and go to heartwiseministries.org.
Nice. No. Come on. Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, sitting in for Dr. Jim Markham on Heart of Health. Today we have our guest Lynda Smith, nurse practitioner in dermatology, and we're talking about issues related to your skin. If you have a question, give us a call, 855-644-3278, and ask Lynda your question about your skin. Lynda, we were talking about sun and proper amount for sun, and we mentioned sunscreens. Tell us what the latest is on sunscreen. I understand there's something's changed with the numbers, or how much is the proper number to have. What's going on with all that?
Right. So if you were to go and get some sunscreen, a lot of people say, oh, I want the biggest number I can get.
Yeah, I get 45, 75, 100 million.
Yeah, there's 110 than 10 even out
Yeah.
there. So, but what that means is if you get something that is 15, you get like 89% coverage.
Okay.
If you get something that's 45, then you've gone up 30 points, but you haven't gone 100% more coverage. All right, you've just gone to like 95% coverage.
From 89 to 95.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then you go, and then if you go to 100% coverage, then you go to 99% coverage. Well, that doesn't cut it. It sounds like you're doubling or tripling your coverage, and you really aren't. So the FDA is trying to regulate those numbers so it doesn't look like we are actually doing more than we are.
Now, if they came to you and said, hey, we'd like you working in derm to give us how the numbers should go, what was your recommendation on the numbers?
I would like to see people use 30 to 50 SPF.
Okay.
All right.
Which means what in practical terms? Minutes in the sun. What's it mean?
It means that you will be covered about 98% of the sun. So the sun rays that come down in those 2 hours that you have that sunscreen on, because remember, when you're in the sun, it degrades the sunscreen.
Well, I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
So how long is the sunscreen good when you put it on?
2 hours.
Okay.
Except Neutrogena has a product that's called Helioplex, and that's a 5-hour.
Okay.
And then Aveeno has a product as well, and that's also 5 hours.
Okay.
So, but what we're talking about is the UVA and the UVB rays. That's what they're changing. So it used to be just UVB coverage, and that's the stuff, the rays that actually make us brown,
Okay.
all right, tanned.
And
okay?
burn us too?
And they can burn us as well. But the UVA rays are the ones that can damage our skin without us getting burnt or tanned. For example, had a patient that loved his sunroof in his car, and he always had it open, just the window part. I mean, it wasn't open, so that
Right.
the
He had
UVBs
the shade
could,
open.
Yeah. So now he's getting just it's like a glass.
Right,
All
right.
right. So that's UVA rays coming in. He got a melanoma on the top of his bald head because he had spent hours in the sun with his sunroof open, but the glass was still on.
Ah.
All right, so the UVAs damage our skin.
So I'm doing right by keeping my shade closed on my sunroof all the time.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
Good. Tell
Or
my
a hat
wife that
on.
because she likes me to have that sunroof open. I'm going to tell her keep it closed.
Or a hat. You can have a hat.
I have a hat on too.
Yes.
Okay, so open with a hat. She'll like that. Okay. So the sunscreen's 30 to 50, 98%, 2 hours, and then you have to reapply.
Yes.
Okay.
If
Now,
you're in the sun.
if you're in the sun,
Yeah.
yeah. Now what about tanning beds?
Oh, tanning beds. All right.
Now what's the deal with that? We get my 15 minutes of good sunlight in a tanning bed for 15 minutes, or what?
So the stats are out on this, and of course the tanning beds will not relay this, but the tanning bed stats are, if you spend more than 20 to 40 hours in a tanning bed, you have a 70% chance more of a melanoma for the rest of your life, not just for the next year, for the rest of your life.
So if you spent 20 to 40 hours in total in your life, or 24 hours, 20 hours a month, 20 hours a year, 20 to 40 hours for your entire life exposure, is that what you're saying?
Yes, then your exposure time represents increased risk for melanoma.
Okay, so I know people who probably spend 5 hours a week
Yeah.
in a tanning bed, and so they're going 5 hours a week. 4 weeks is 20 hours. They're doing 200 hours a
Yeah,
year. What's
yeah.
their risk going to be?
Their risk is the same, still 70%.
70%.
Okay,
So
we're not going up.
So you're telling the people once they hit their 40 hours, you might as well just keep tanning.
No.
Because you're not going to increase your risk anymore. Your risk is
No.
already there. Just keep tanning.
No. But the studies show, that more than 40 hours.
So there is a
we've got-
dose-dependent thing. It's going to get worse.
Sure, it's going to get worse.
Okay.
Your aging is going to get worse, of course, too.
Your wrinkling.
Yeah.
Your wrinkling is going to get much worse. So I bet you don't spend much time in a tanning booth.
Not a minute.
Not a minute in a tanning booth. Okay, me either. I don't spend any time in a tanning booth. Okay, we're talking with Lynda Smith, nurse practitioner in dermatology. You got a question for her, give us a call, 855-644-3278. That's 855-644-3278. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about other issues related to your skin. Think about what questions you might have. Are you wrinkling? Would you like to slow that aging process down? Are there things we can do in our lifestyle that can reduce the skin cancer risk or slow the skin aging issues? Maybe I'll ask her some other trick questions to see if we can see if she knows anything about what smoking might be doing, and if smoking ages the skin and its plasticity, and what we can do if we smoke to slow the aging process. I don't think there's anything we can do. We'll check with her on that. That's 855-644-3278. We'll be back right after this.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings with your Mental Health Minute. Have you been moody, tired all the time, or more forgetful than usual? How are you sleeping? There are 4 physical requirements to life: air, water, food, and sleep. Deprive yourself of any of these life requirements and your ability to function will suffer. Sleep deprivation alters normal brain function, impairing memory and attention, increasing irritability, and has been associated with increased risk of diabetes, obesity, and depression. Sleep deprivation impairs driving as severely as alcohol intoxication. Adults require 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep per night, adolescents 9 to 10, and children 11 to 12. If you're struggling to get enough sleep, avoid caffeine, establish a regular sleep routine, ensure your bedroom is conducive to sleep, and if these measures don't work, see your doctor. To be smart requires a healthy brain, so be smart, don't stress, and get regular rest.
To learn more about mental health, visit comeandreason.com.
You can easily spend $90 on an expensive meal out. How about investing $89.94 in your future? Just think about the possibility of coming off those prescription pills and getting rid of all the side effects. Think about feeling better than you have ever felt in your life. This is all possible for you. For only $89.94, you will receive a 7-part DVD series, Weight Management by the Book, a 30-lesson workbook with over 100 recipes, and if ordered today, exercise tubes will be included for free to help with your journey. There are many programs available, but this unique program has identified the truth about how to manage weight. This program is not available in stores. This limited offer will not last long. Pick up the phone now and dial 877-504-9628. Operators are standing by. This call will change your life forever.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, sitting in for Dr. Jim Markham here on Heart of Health Live. We're talking to Lynda Smith, nurse practitioner specializing in dermatology. Give us a call, 855-644-3278 to ask your questions. And right now we're going to go to the phones and we're going to go talk to Ted from Virginia. Hello, Ted. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Dr. Jennings, and thank you for taking my call, and also thank you for your guest. Listen, I have a lot of brown spots all over my body, and I don't know what they are, but I don't like them there. Is there anything I can do to get rid of them?
Well, Ted, are they flat?
Yep, they're pretty much flat. There's nothing. They're flat. They're not raised. There's no hairs growing out of them, but they're just coming up, and the older I get, the more I get of them.
And are you in the sun a lot?
Yeah, I do get in the sun quite a bit.
All right, then that's what's doing it. That sun is wicked, and it'll create those brown spots more and more. So some people have lots of freckling, and other people have what we call melasma, which is the brown kind of irregularly shaped spots all over. Got to get out of that sun. Use that sunscreen, at least 50 SPF.
Once the ones are on me, is there anything I can do to get them to go away?
Well, a lot of my women and men too, they want to get rid of the brown spots that are on their face particularly. And so I do order a bleaching cream called hydroquinone, 4%. There is a 2% over the counter, but it's not very good. You don't waste your time or money on that. But get the 4% hydroquinone and use a retin-A with it, drives it deeper into the skin, and in about 3 months you can pretty much get most of those brown spots gone if you use sunscreen every day and you wear a hat every day. So you have to be very, very vigilant about that sun.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Righto.
Right, thanks for calling. That was a great question. So back to this question. This is a very timely question. Do you recommend that people at home screen their skin? You know, they have the breast cancer awareness month and all these things going on. People are vigilant to screen at home for breast cancer and so forth. Do you recommend people at home screen their skin for skin cancer? And if so, what do you tell them to watch for?
Okay, so we have a standard of A, B, C, D, E, all right? So A stands for asymmetrical. Can you cut this lesion in half and it be the same on both sides?
And if it is?
Then it's fine,
if it's
generally.
A, okay, if it's not, then we might be worried.
Okay, now, but then we add B to it, borders. Is the border kind of growing a hand out here? Or is it really asymmetrical everywhere, all right? So borders, we look for the border. Okay. And then we add C for coloration. Okay. Is the color different? Is there a black and a brown within the same lesion? Or is there a red or a blue in there along with different colors, okay? That's the C. And then D for diameter, 6 millimeters, the size of a pencil eraser. If it's larger than that, it needs to be checked. And then E stands for evolving. Is it changing in any way? Is it evolving? Is it changing in any of those capacities? Then you need to get checked.
Okay, go ahead.
And when somebody checks you, like for instance, have a spouse or a friend check your back, it's good to look at the back real carefully. Is there anything that's bleeding, that hurts, anything that is scaly? Those kinds of things you need to be looking for and get checked. So generally I say you need a good skin cancer screen from a dermatologist at about 40. But that doesn't mean that nothing can happen before 40.
Right. No, I've known people in their 20s that have melanoma.
Yeah. And I had a 14-year-old girl on her leg, melanoma.
Now, so back to the C on your A, B, C, D, and E, the color, wouldn't you tell anybody if they have one, if it met all the other ones, but the color was like pencil lead black, that they should come in?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, because that pencil lead black, black is the black ace of spades, is a real red flag that this is going to be maybe melanoma. We need to get it checked.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's so many out there now that are pink, and that's what's scary.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen the pink melanoma.
So pink, which are called amelanotic melanoma, without color.
Wow, I haven't seen that. And of course, we can get melanoma in the retina. I've heard it's very rare. So
exactly.
that sunglasses, should people wear sunglasses?
Yes, definitely, because you can get a melanoma growing on the retina.
Now, isn't it true that too much sun also contributes to increased risk of cataracts too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Another good reason to wear sunglasses.
No, I always wear my sunglasses. I don't hardly, even on the cloudy days. You can get sunburn on a cloudy day.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
And how about people skiing?
Oh, sure.
You know, skiing at the cold,
like you were talking
cold,
about winter skiing.
Winter skiing,
yes.
yes.
Yeah, sure, because the reflection off that white sun.
And high altitude.
Yes.
You get less protection.
That's right.
All righty, we're talking with Lynda Smith, dermatologist, nurse practitioner specializing in dermatology. Give us a call at 855-644-3278 and ask your questions. When we come back, we're gonna talk about acne. What are some acne preventions? What are the things that can increase the risk of acne? What kind of dietary things can we do to promote healthier skin? What kind of lifestyle choices we can make? 855-644-3278. See you after the break.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
You can easily spend $90 on an expensive meal out. How about investing $89.94 in your future? Just think about the possibility of coming off those prescription pills and getting rid of all the side effects. Think about feeling better than you have ever felt in your life. This is all possible for you. For only $89.94, you will receive a 7-part DVD series, Weight Management by the Book, a 30-lesson workbook with over 100 recipes, and if ordered today, exercise tubes will be included for free to help with your journey. There are many programs available, but this unique program has identified the truth about how to manage weight. This program is not available in stores. This limited offer will not last long. Pick up the phone now and dial 877-504-9628. Operators are standing by. This call will change your life forever.
So here's a question. If you love Jesus, and I mean truly love him, people will notice, right? I mean, if Jesus is at the center of everything you do, people will have to notice. And that is exactly what Life Talk is all about. You see, at Life Talk, our goal has always been to connect people to the true source of power, Jesus Christ. We know with Jesus at the center of our lives, nothing is impossible.
There's a place for modern medicine, but that's not enough. There's a place for lifestyle, but that's not enough. The real truth in medicine, the real truth in healing comes from that relationship with the Heavenly Father. That relationship can show us the balance, when to use modern medicine, when to use lifestyle, and to use it for the right reasons. Well, this book gives the solution to the healthcare dilemma. It answers the question, why am I sick? How do I get better? And how can I have ultimate healing?
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Welcome back to Heart of Health Live. I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, sitting in for Dr. Jim Markham. We're talking with Lynda Smith, nurse practitioner specializing in dermatology. Give us a call, 855-644-3278, 855-644-3278, and ask your questions of our specialist here today. Lynda, let's talk about acne. What is acne? What increases the risks of it? What can we do anything about it? Tell us about acne.
Okay, so you have a hair follicle on your face, and that's got a sebaceous gland. And
sebaceous
oily gland.
Okay.
All right, that oily gland then wants to come out and moisturize our skin. But when we are...
So that oil is actually good for good skin health.
Sure it is, because the more oily your skin and more moisturized it is, the less aging it will happen in the skin. But what happens when you're a teenager is that those other hormones, the androgens specifically, increase when you're a teenager, and sometimes all the way up into mid-20s, and then they increase that activity and then create these pustules along with the bacteria that's very common on the face. And so then we get all these pimples and nodules and blackheads and whiteheads. Nobody wants them.
Nobody wants them. Okay, I'm going to come back and get some more questions. We got a caller, a caller from Kentucky. I can't quite, who's the name on that? Jenny from Kentucky. Welcome to the show, Jenny.
Hi, I had a question about aging, and just there's a lot of products on the market, and I'm just wondering, I'm starting to get some changes on my face. I was just wondering if there's anything you'd recommend to prevent aging.
Okay, and that's over-the-counter stuff?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so over-the-counter, you do want to get something with a retinol in it. So retinol is a precursor to retin A. So you cannot get a retin A without a doctor's prescription. So retinol is something that is not quite as strong. Retinol with an N-O-L at the end. Like Olavilay's got those products, ROC has those products in it. So just look for that retinol. And that will help with the fine lines and wrinkles in the face. Of course, staying out of the sun is going to be very important, and not smoking. All right, so those are the two biggest things. And other products, moisturizing the face, keeping that SPF on, those are some of the basic things to do. Okay.
Did you have other questions, Jenny?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for calling. But we talk about aging. We'll come back to acne in a minute. We're talking about aging. You mentioned, of course, the sunlight. You mentioned the smoking, which is highly oxidative stress. Crack cocaine. You may not see this much, but in my practice, crack cocaine. You just go, anybody that's watching this, go online, type in, the DEA crack and aging, okay, and just see the accelerated aging. You want to age yourself decades and years, you do some crack cocaine and you'll see. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah.
It's terrible. So, and the reason for that is that high oxidative stress. Now what about diet? Let's talk about diet. Can you have a diet that will accelerate the aging, make you age faster?
Well, I think if you eat foods that have that high oxidative stress, capacities, those radicals in them, I think that it does change the skin structure. And so people who are vegetarians have a better skin look and they don't age quite as fast. I don't know if there's any numbers to that.
Yeah, I haven't seen the numbers on it either, but I think you're exactly right. What about exercise? Is exercise, as long as you're not getting over sun exposure?
Right.
Is it you know, we know it's good for the heart, we know it's good for the brain.
Sure.
How about for the skin?
Sure, it's good for the skin as well. But like you said, you need to be careful about how much sun you're getting, because I've got some guys that are out biking all the time and they may do 50 to 100 miles a week. Well, if they're doing that in the full sunlight, you know, in the middle of the day, and they don't have any protection on, they're going to get more of that windburn, sunburn effect on their face.
Now we're talking about the health of the skin, we're talking about maybe acne and all these things, and we're talking about exercise, so popped into my mind, what about sweating? Is it good to go into like a steam bath, a hot place that's going to, you know, make you sweat? Is that good for the skin?
It's okay for a little while, but even hot baths are not really good for the skin. Lukewarm is better.
Yeah, I can see people lining up for those lukewarm bathhouses. Hey, lukewarm bath here. Get your massage in a lukewarm bath. It just doesn't seem to be that appealing, does it?
No. But you know, the other thing is, if you're going to have a hot shower, end with a little bit of a cold shower.
And how's that beneficial?
Because it helps those capillaries open up with the dilation of the warmth, and then it'll shut them back down again.
Okay.
It's really kind of cool.
We're going to go to break. Give us a call, 855-644-3278. Talk with Lynda Smith, our specialist in dermatology. We'll be back right after this.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
The Ultimate Prescription by cardiologist Dr. James Markham is taking the nation by storm. People everywhere are learning what living a healthy life is all about. If you're happy living a drug-filled, pain-filled, mundane existence, this book is definitely not for you. In this book, Dr. Markham dives into modern medicine's strengths and weaknesses and explains how lifestyle choices can significantly impact your health. To get your copy, visit Barnes & Noble or shop online at Amazon.com.
I'm Dr. James Markham, and I talk to patients every day who want to know the truth in healthcare. On our website, heartwiseministries.org, you can have your questions answered. You can read my blog where I talk about interesting and controversial subjects in medicine. You might choose to go to the radio or television sections and learn more about all sorts of health topics. Take the time and go to heartwiseministries.org.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings with your Mental Health Minute. Whether you call it wacky tobacco, ganja, pot, or marijuana, the impact it has on your brain is not good. New research by Dr. Madeline Meyer from Duke University documents that adolescents who smoke marijuana before the age of 18 experience an 8-point drop in IQ scores that persist well into adulthood, and quitting did not fully restore intellectual functioning. This drop is significant as the average person has an IQ of 100, placing them at the 50th percentile for intelligence. A drop in 8 points would place the person at the 29th percentile for intelligence. This dramatically reduces one's ability to succeed later in life. Other research documents that those who smoke marijuana have higher rates of psychosis, and the risk increases with greater use. To be smart requires a healthy brain. So be smart. Say nope to the dope.
To learn more about mental health, visit comeandreason.com.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Welcome back. I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, sitting in for Dr. Jim Markham on Heart of Health Live, and we're with Lynda Smith, nurse practitioner specializing in dermatology. We're talking at this moment about acne. So I've got a question. Does diet or lifestyle have any impact on, acne, making it better, making it worse, anything like that?
Well, when we were younger, I'm sure you remember, don't eat chocolate, don't eat hamburgers, don't eat French fries, because that'll make your acne worse.
Pizza.
We don't really see any studies that show that particularly. But in my practice, I've noticed that people who drink a lot more milk and eat a lot more meat will have a little bit more. I mean, I don't know if they're going to have more or less because, they're just a study of one, really. But I feel like it seems to be that the more they've taken these things that have more hormones and steroids and antibiotics in them, we're talking about the
animal products.
The animal products, then that also contributes to the steroids and the hormones that are from those products into your face.
No, I think you're really onto something here. I think the food in our country is because of this need to mass produce rapidly to make money. We see many food growers in our country are not growing and producing food just because they want to feed people. They're doing it to make money.
Right.
And the faster we can do it, and the more we can put the weight on the hoof. So we jack them up with steroids and jack them up with all this other stuff, then we can make more money. Mm-hmm. I heard a case, talking about case reports now. Case report is somebody who's living in Europe, and in Europe they're eating steak, potatoes, hot dogs, hamburgers, normal weight, come here, spend a month and a half, 6 weeks here, eating the same food, put on 20 pounds, go back to Europe, eat the same food, drop 20 pounds. You see, there's something different about the food sources here in America, and I think there is something to this because of the way they use the antibiotics and the steroids and stuff here in this country.
Yeah, so if I have a teenager that I ask them if they're drinking a lot of milk products, I'll ask them to cut that down considerably. Like if somebody's drinking like 5 glasses of milk a day or something like that.
So what about almond milk?
Well, that's a great milk. That's a great alternative.
Yeah, that's what I have every day.
Okay,
yeah,
very good.
Almond milk's good. So I'm doing right. Okay. All right. So do you recommend if somebody's got acne, teenager, not maybe wanting to come in and see a dermatologist, any over-the-counter products that are actually effective for a teen struggling with acne?
Yes. So your benzoyl peroxide products all went over the market and into the over-the-counter. The 4% is for the face, 10% is for the back and the chest, and you can get that, just walking in to see. Yeah, they work well because they're decreasing all that sebum production, and then they're drying out the lesions. So that works really well. So any product that has, like Clearasil has got the benzoyl peroxide in it, so those pads that the guys can put on after they have a football game or something like that. That's important to do. So your benzoyl peroxide products are out there, your salicylic acid products are out there, all for good washing.
Perfect. Let's go to the phones. We've got a caller, I think that's Lisa from Tennessee. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. My question has to do with rosacea. My dad has rosacea, and it looks to me like I'm starting to have it show up on my cheeks. And I'm wondering, what can you do about that? And does it continue to spread, or does it just stay localized where it begins to show? Or
this is a good
question. I don't really know anything about it.
It's a good question. Rosacea is kind of a funny little disease because we don't really know everything about it. But what we do know is that there's different types to it. So some people just get the redness, which are the little telangiectasia on the nose and the medial cheeks. Other people get pimples and they break out with pimples. Other people get it in their eyes. And then some people grow that nose, that Bill Clinton nose, or that nose that you don't want. Mostly that's men. But it's genetically inclined. There are triggers for it. So if you actually have, feel like every time you drink wine or every time you eat an avocado, you get redder, or you have more pimples come up, then those are your triggers that you need to avoid. But oftentimes it's sun related, it's maybe exercising brings it on, getting hot, maybe drinking coffee. All these things are triggers to it, so you can kind of avoid those things some of the time, not all the time. And of course, stress is another big trigger. So rosacea is an interesting disease. We can treat it with antibiotics to keep that redness down, and so it's a big deal.
Lisa, we're going to have to go to break. Do you want to hold on and continue with us after the break, or did that answer your question?
I have one more follow-up question.
Okay, just hold on. We're going to get back to you. This is Heart of Health Live. Dr. Tim Jennings. Give us a call, 855-644-3278, and talk with our guest, Lynda Smith. We'll be back right after this.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
Nice. Yes, go! Yes! No! Come on!
Oops.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go. Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Have you ever heard things about God that didn't make sense? Have you ever thought that science and Scripture cannot be reconciled? Have you heard ideas about God that scare you? Or are you just tired and confused? If you want answers to complex problems, if you want a testable, evidence-based understanding of God and the world around you, an understanding in which the Bible and science harmonize to reveal the reality that God is love all the time, then Come and Reason Ministries is for you. Hi, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, board-certified psychiatrist, and Come and Reason Ministries is dedicated to helping you learn to discern, to stimulate you to think, to help hone and refine your ability to know the right from the wrong, the healthy from the unhealthy, and teach you how to experience healing of your mind, body, and relationships here and now. If you would like an evidence-based approach to knowing God, then visit us online at comeandreason.com.
You can easily spend $90 on an expensive meal out. How about investing $89.94 in your future? Just think about the possibility of coming off those prescription pills and getting rid of all the side effects. Think about feeling better than you have ever felt in your life. This is all possible for you. For only $89.94, you will receive a 7-part DVD series, Weight Management by the Book, a 30-lesson workbook with over 100 recipes, and if ordered today, exercise tubes will be included for free to help with your journey. There are many programs available, but this unique program has identified the truth about how to manage weight. This program is not available in stores. This limited offer will not last long. Pick up the phone now and dial 877-504-9628. Operators are standing by. This call will change your life forever.
You've got questions, we've got answers on The Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, sitting in for Dr. Jim Markham, and welcome back to Heart of Health Live. Give us a call, 855-644-3278, and talk with Lynda Smith, nurse practitioner in dermatology, here with us tonight. Right now, we're talking with Lisa from Tennessee. Lisa, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, did that answer your question on rosacea, or did you have more on that before you went on to your second question?
Well, I just wanted to follow up on that. You know, once it actually starts to show, does it spread? I mean, if it just shows a small amount on your cheeks, is that going to spread to your whole cheek, or does it just kind of stay local?
That's what I don't know, Lisa. I'm sorry, but I just can't predict those kinds of things. A lot of it depends on, you know, how much genetics you've got in you, and then how much you're actually doing all those triggers I talked about before.
Will sun make it worse?
Sun will make it worse.
Okay.
Getting aggravated products on your skin will make it worse. You don't want to aggravate your skin. You want to use very mild cleansers like Cetaphil or CeraVe for cleansing. Don't use harsh soaps, those kinds of things.
Did you have another question, Lisa?
Well, she had mentioned that there were certain foods.
Yes.
Is that something that's, I mean, are there a lot of foods that can trigger it, or are there specific foods that trigger rosacea?
Well, things that are acidic, maybe tomatoes or your pineapples, sometimes can. But like my sister-in-law gets triggered with avocado, and she hates that, but not everybody does. So everybody is unique to their own triggers.
Now, do we know what the cause of this is?
Not really.
Okay. Did you have another question, Lisa?
Nope, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you for calling. So this rosacea question, you said antibiotics can help.
Yeah. So antibiotics in dermatology, we often use them to decrease redness, not necessarily to kill off bacteria. So that's what we're using it for in rosacea.
Do you have any clue as to how an antibiotic decreases redness? Is it reducing an autoimmune and inflammatory cascade?
It's reducing the inflammatory cascade.
So it's reducing eosinophilic release of inflammatory factors. Well, would an antihistamine help?
No.
Antihistamines don't help. So
No.
antibiotics do. So there's, I imagine this is an area that's really doing a lot of research.
Oh yeah, there's still a lot of research
I
going
find
on.
this very fascinating. My mind is going down several different hypothetical trails right now, trying to figure out what's going on with this.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like there might be some microbe or something involved in this.
In some instances there are. It's called Demodex.
Yes, and you know, I'm wondering, does stress have anything to do with it?
A big part, a big part.
So people who are more stress-prone, anxiety-prone, will that make rosacea worse?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it was interesting because we've discovered recently that stress also actually can affect your GI system. Well, we know that, but we're talking to actually affect the bacteria living in your GI system can be altered by stress. And that can then alter your mood. Very interesting things we're discovering.
It's incredible.
Yeah, the brain's involved. I always got to bring it back to the brain,
Yes,
don't I?
of
You're talking
course.
about the skin, I'm talking about the brain. Okay, let's get back to the skin. Tell us, do you treat cold sores? Is that something dermatology looks at?
Oh yeah. So cold sores are caused by a virus, and that virus kind of sits in by the fireplace on your nerve. And when it gets stressed, and that could be if you're out in the sun, or if you're stressed by an upcoming test or a relationship stress, that cold sore or that virus comes out of that nerve and creates this weeping lesion on your...
Now we're not talking herpes simplex 2.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, but that's not the same as cold sores, is it?
Herpes simplex 1.
Okay, herpes simplex.
So there's 1 and 2.
Right.
Above the belt, below the belt.
Right, but that's not the same thing as cold sores. Is that the cold sores? Those ones you get inside your mouth are like round and white and.
Yeah.
But you know, and that's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen those ones that you get on the lip out here, but I've seen the ones inside too, and they're the same thing, just depending on where it's tracking out of the nerve.
Right.
Well, we know those are definitely stress related, and
Right.
what you're saying is it's sitting there at the nerve, and your immune system's holding it in check.
Yes.
And when you get stressed, you reduce the immune system. The guards basically go off
Right.
duty, and this thing breaks out and causes lesion. Okay.
Right.
So what do you do for it?
Well, some people that get them frequently, they actually take some lysine, which is a mineral, over-the-counter mineral, but we give an antiviral, when it's really bad.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So
that decreases the length of the time that the lesion stays on the mouth.
That stuff that people put on that comes in that little
Abrevia.
Yeah, that little green
it can help
bottle
a
stuff
little.
that smells really bad.
Yeah, it can help a little.
And it does help a little.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty.
But you're better off with acyclovir, which is a prescription.
Better off with acyclovir, which is antiviral, and it works by suppressing the virus's ability to reproduce.
Right.
Okay. What about dandruff? People suffering from dandruff. Anything you want to tell us very quickly? A few seconds.
That's a really good question because a lot of people suffer from that. And it can come and go, so seasonally sometimes. So dandruff in the scalp, dandruff on the face.
We're going to have to go to break.
All right.
We'll pick it up in our last section. One section coming up, 855-644-3278. Dr. Tim Jennings sitting in for Dr. Jim Markham, Heart of Health Live. We'll be back right after this.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
I'm Dr. James Markham, and I talk to patients every day who want to know the truth in healthcare. On our website, heartwiseministries.org, you can have your questions answered. You can read my blog where I talk about interesting and controversial subjects in medicine. You might choose to go to the radio or television sections and learn more about all sorts of health topics. Take the time and go to heartwiseministries.org.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
So here's a question. If you love Jesus, and I mean truly love him, people will notice, right? I mean, if Jesus is at the center of everything you do, people will have to notice. And that is exactly what Life Talk is all about. You see, At LifeTalk, our goal has always been to connect people to the true source of power, Jesus Christ. We know with Jesus at the center of our lives, nothing is impossible.
There's a place for modern medicine, but that's not enough. There's a place for lifestyle, but that's not enough. The real truth in medicine, the real truth in healing comes from that relationship with the Heavenly Father. That relationship can show us the balance, when to use modern medicine, when to use lifestyle, and to use it for the right reasons. Well, this book gives the solution to the healthcare dilemma. It answers the question, why am I sick? How do I get better? And how can I have ultimate healing?
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, sitting in for Dr. Jim Markham on Heart of Health Live. We've been talking this section, this show with Lynda Smith, specializing in dermatology, nurse practitioner. Lynda, any quick thoughts you wanted to finish up on the dandruff question?
Yeah, let me just share with you that if you rotate your shampoos, and I'm saying let's do Head and Shoulders, let's do Selsun Blue, and then ZNP bar, I love that one, the ZNP. It's 2% zinc perinthrin, all right? And then sometimes if it's really rough, you need to go to your doctor and get an antifungal shampoo to add into there. But you have to rotate.
Every day you do a different one, or you do like one bottle this, one bottle that, one bottle the other?
One day you do the ZNP bar, the second day you do Selsun Blue.
Gotcha.
So you're rotating, so one goes behind after you've used it. And that often can do the trick for you, but you've got to rotate those. So some of my patients say, oh, I've just been using Selsun Blue all the time. No, you've got to rotate because each one does a little something different to keep that scale down.
All right, we've talked a lot about the skin today, lots of different topics we've talked about. What do you want to leave our audience with? What are the key high points you want them to take away from the show?
I want them to stay out of the sun.
Stay out of the sun.
Stay out of the sun, and if they're in the sun, they need to use sunscreen. Very, very important. Sunscreen does not cause cancer. It takes it down, all right? So we've got to use that sunscreen and stay out of the sun. Wear your hats. So guys that are out on the golf course, get that hat on and get that sunscreen on. Remember, a lot of cancers I take off of men are right here on the side where the sun comes this way. They may wear that baseball cap, but they're not wearing anything to protect them here. So I take a lot off the ears, the sides of their faces, all right? So you gotta wear that sunscreen every time you get outside, and that's every day.
Every day.
Every
well, you know,
day.
I don't wear sunscreen going in from the car and out to the car.
Yeah, you get about an hour. They've done studies. You get about an hour every week, and that's 52 hours a year. Put that sunscreen on.
I'm not going to put that sunscreen on. I'm just going to have to suck it up and take my chances walking in and out of the car. I just can't get that greasy. This is Dr. Tim Jennings sitting in for Dr. Jim Markham on Heart of Health Live. We appreciate you joining us this week. We want you to remember this number. Put it in your Rolodex, 855-644-3278, and be ready for next week, because we're going to be back 1 week from today with another exciting show where you can call in and talk to your favorite medical health care specialist. Dr. Jim Markham will be back next week with his guest. So give us a call next week at 855-644-3278. Thank you, Lynda Smith, for a great show and for giving us exciting information for our guests at home. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.